No stupid questions. Is it normal to not want to work at all? It isn't that I hate my current job. It's actually pretty easy and pays enough. I just don't want to go. I think even if I were offered my dream job paying quadruple what I make now, I still wouldn't want to do it. People tell me to find a job I love. But even if I loved it, I still wouldn't want to do it unless there's some way to get paid for watching TV, not writing reviews, not being in a focus group, just sitting quietly at my house watching TV and interacting with no one. That scene in Office Space where Peter says if he had $1 million he would do nothing. That's exactly how I feel. I just want to eat, drink and sit here in my chair watching TV or playing video games until I die. Edit. Thank you for all the replies. I wasn't expecting so many when I woke up this morning. I'll go through them and reply the best I can. Sounds 100% normal to me. Other than my wife. Every single other person I've talked to about this phenomenon says that they couldn't do it. They say that they'd get bored and would have to at least get a part-time job to pass the time. My wife and I know that we could very well just never work again without a problem. I didn't work for about 2 years after college. Depression caused lack of motivation to do anything really. I hated every moment of it because I felt so guilty that I was just leeching off my parents still not doing anything. Not going to school, not working even part-time at the age of 22. Now that I work full-time I wish I could have had time back. There's so many things I wish I could do, but I can't because I don't have the time. Grass is always greener on the other side. However, I don't know how I'd feel if I made a fortune somehow and didn't need to work anymore because of that. If I didn't need to rely on someone else to take care of me and I could just use my money to support myself, I'd still probably want to do something like become a philanthropist or volunteer somewhere a few days a week, or some hitters doing nothing I feel would drive me crazy and make me feel like a bum, even if I wasn't relying on someone else. In my unprofessional opinion, it sounds like you have depression. Edit. I'm not trying to say anything the op is doing is wrong. Like I mentioned in a reply to another comment, I suffer from depression, and what the op described sounds a lot like my own symptoms. Don't like your work. You must be depressed. Get that fixed so you can get back to work. Work will set you free. Nah, it's more about the fact that upstream life seems to be vegging out in front of a TV. That's what depressed people do when left to their own devices. Lack of drive or interests is not a sign of great mental health. And TV and video games are probably the most common forms of escapism. I feel exactly the same. I cannot understand people that say if they won the lottery they'd get bored. That's insane to me. I have so many books I want to read, films to watch, video games to play, countries to visit, raves and festivals to go to. Why would you rather work instead of doing those things? I want to start a family, but what's the point when you only see your child in the evenings and weekends when you're all tired? I was home educated, but my parents are hippies than me, and my siblings had no formal education. We just hung out, played games, saw friends, went swimming in the river, read books, played with our cats. We'd visit castles or towns we've never been to, make here, take photographs, paint. I miss being able to do whatever I want. I'm not sure they mean bored so much as restless or existential. After a while of relaxing and consuming, some people will feel like their life has no point or meaning. There are a lot of ways to find meaning. To make a mark on the world, writing, making music, raising children, or working for a non-profit. When you take away the need to earn a living, some people will gravitate to those pursuits. People already do those things in spite of the fact that it can be a tough and meager existence. What do you think would happen when automation makes the work or starve system no longer necessary? There are people who might be happy doing nothing but TV and video games for the rest of their life. But not everybody's like that. I suppose I just don't understand that concept. To me, life is already meaningless. What gives me meaning is having fun and spending time with loved ones. Every time I've turned a hobby or interest into work, it's just made me hate that hobby. Too much of anything sucks. And 45 hours per week is too much. Yes. Exactly this. When I started as a developer, I loved programming and creating great software. Just 3 years in, the passion is gone because the reality is, unless you are a higher up making big picture decisions, even at a job you love, you'll just be carrying out someone else's vision. Often in a way that conflicts with how you would do it if it were up to you. It becomes incredibly depressing and it just ruins the thing you were once passionate about. Don't do something you love. Do something you tolerate that allows you to maximize your ability to pursue hobbies outside of work. Your last point is a good one. I went from doing something I loved where I was worked hard and did not have flexibility to doing something I care nothing about, but has a lot of flexibility and significantly greater pay. I'm simply healthier, happier, and wealthier now. I think work always sucks if you have to work. Even if it's a great job, everything you have to do for a long time every day will eventually suck. So I think it's great if you're rich and have the luxury to just always do what you want to, but a job can also be something that takes your mind off some negative thoughts or worries. A place with nice people to talk to, and I think there's a very important one, a place where you feel needed. It can feel good to accomplish something or help someone. So I think, if I'd be really rich I would of course stop working, but after 1 or 2 years I would search for something to do that has a purpose, or creates something or helps others. And when that something to do became tiresome, you'd stop and do something else. Which is the freedom so many of us want. I'd love to travel, doing weird jobs as they come, like so many writers, and, of course, ordinary people that would just travel as vagabonds. Picking up seasonal work, doing mundane hits sometimes but always moving on once somewhere or something grows stale. I did that. Medical leave for 6 months. The first month was great. After a while, without the rhythm of work, I fell into a mess. I didn't take care of my personal hygiene. Laundry piled up. Dishes were constantly in the sink. If every day is a Saturday then there was always time to do it later. I got a preview of what I thought my dream retirement would be, and it turned out to be a nightmare. It was so bad. I went back to school. Now I make 2x what I used to 5 years ago, and I have a better idea of what I actually want for myself. I think it's totally normal to want to be responsibility free. But the responsibilities that we have often are what push in a direction in life. Thank you. I do something like that from time to time. My bedroom looked like shit. The laundry piled up like crazy. I just didn't care. I almost didn't care enough to eat. But eventually I would order some food. I don't want to think about anything, so I just watch Twitch. I don't even have the motivation to pick out something to watch on Netflix. Jesus. I feel awful writing this. At this point I honestly don't know if it is apathy bordering on depression or just laziness. I think it's totally normal to want to be responsibility free. But the responsibilities that we have often are what push in a direction in life. This is the cash money I needed right now. Thank you so much. I honestly don't know if it is apathy bordering on depression or just laziness. One feeds the other. Everything is a mess. This is a depressing site. It's too much to do. It induces laziness, which perpetuates the mess, which is a depressing site. I feel the same. I think this is not only normal, but usual. Can confirm. I love my job. I get paid unbelievably well for it. And it's likely made it so I can retire somewhere in my 30s. Even then the part I'm looking forward to the most is still retiring in my 30s. It's mostly because I don't want to have to do something with my days. I want my days to run on my own schedule and my own plans. If I want to work that day then sure, but otherwise I want to be able to play a new video game all day. Or go on a drive out to a nice road. Or meet up with friends for lunch. I don't want work to be something that takes up most of my day. That sounds awesome. What do you do? Nah. Duck working. I feel the same. You ever just daydream about what you'd do if you won the lottery? I do that hit every day. Me and my girl would move to Amsterdam and live in some glass palace and some other mad hit. Big dreams got me motivated though. It's a nice thought. Every time I deal with an idiot customer, I daydream about winning the lottery and then buying the company I work for. Then I would still work, but would choose just the smart and normal clients and let others do the dumb ducks. Imagining 2 queues of clients in your company, with you working on one of the queues. Your current client says something stupid, and you tell them please proceed to the dumb ducks line over there. Next. It is not. You still want to do something, achieve things. Make progress. Learn new things. Make your life better. Take responsibility. Even if all you want is to play games, you will still be wanting to be better at it. Or play different games. Do a progress in it. Sometimes people lose motivation due to a depression. That is not normal. Depression is a condition which could be treated, and specialists could help you with it. Sometimes people lose motivation because doing things is hard. It is normal to pass on challenges, but it is not like you should encourage it. There are always some ways to split hard tasks to achievable goals and make a progress in them. You won't make things right from a first try, but eventually you'll see a progress. Sometimes people lose motivation because their expectations are too high. That also is not okay. Not everyone is Elon Musk. It is perfectly fine to settle with the smaller goals in life. Have simple life or even a downshifting. You do not need to work for a greater future, you can work for a smaller goals. And smaller goals eventually lead to a good life. I do not know you, but judging by the way you've asked that question, that is not what you want. People who do really want to just watch TV and play games are not doing nothing, they are doing a lot of things and enjoying it. Edit, my non-native English. Hi. Just FYI. Lose and loose are different words. I feel the same way. If I won the lotto tomorrow, I would quit on the spot and never work again. I can't imagine anything that I would like to do, and if I had enough money I wouldn't be working to not be bored. If I keep on track I should be able to retire at about 55, so I'm gonna keep at it unless I come into big money randomly. r/anti work. We already produce more than enough for every human on earth. Not everyone needs to work. Plenty of food. Plenty of housing. Plenty of entertainment products. But instead, work or die surf. It's hilarious how everyone in here clearly recognizes the problem of the modern economy, but when you point this out apparently you're downvoted. Systematic Stockholm Syndrome. Read Walden by Thoreau. It's basically the journal of a guy who thought working was pointless. So he builds a cheap cabin and lives off the land for 2 years just to prove he could do it. He ends up having a great time and writes all kinds of great lines hitting on the idea of needing to work all the time. I need something to convince me to stay, not to leave, lol. I wish it was as easy to just build a cabin and do that now. God, I cried my eyes out to my mom the other night about how I don't want to work at all. Pretty crushing reality to live in, that you'll never be able to stop working. The most crushing part is that most people don't even get to do something they remotely like to do and have to hit jobs to not make enough money, then die. I find it rather odd that we spend the majority of our years when we are most able to do anything. 2040s, we commit 75% of our time to working, alienated from experiences, just so that we can retire with all of the money and free time when we are least able to do the things we wish we did when we were younger. So true. What's the point? Time you enjoy wasting was not wasted. Make sure to like and subscribe for more AskReddit videos.